Hello students, how are you all? Today we are going to start chapter number 2 of class 9 science, that is matter around us pure? Is matter around us pure? So first of all, from the name of the chapter we can say that what do we mean by matter, that we have learned in chapter number 1. What do we mean by matter? Anything that occupies space and has mass is known as matter. Quite simple. Anything that occupies space and has mass is known as matter. Now the matter around us, is matter around us pure? So there are lots of thousands and thousands of matters around us: board, chalk, book, paper, table, camera, watch, ourselves, TV, tube light, fan, AC, ceilings, floor, benches. There are thousands of matter around us. Even air is also a matter. Types of matter, states of matter, solid, liquid, gas. So gas is also a matter. Clear? But now the question arises, is this matter pure? Is matter around us pure? So whenever we say that, what do we mean by pure? Whenever we use the word pure is especially used for the things which are edible. It means which are eatable. Clear? So we cannot say eatable, that is edible. So things which we eat or we can eat, we consider it as a pure. For example, the mineral water bottle that we buy from a shop, water bottle, mineral water, Bisleri, clear, Aquafina, Bisleri, Kinley. So these are the water bottles that we brought from the shop, are considered as a pure water. Are considered as pure water. Why? Because we can drink. Amul, pure ghee. Amul, pure ghee. So that is also a pure thing. We considered it as a pure because it is edible. Clear? We can eat that. So the things which is edible for us, we considered as pure. But this is a wrong concept. This is a wrong concept. As per the chemist, as per the scientist, the things are considered pure if it is made up of only and only single type of particle. If it is made up of single type of particle, then and then it is considered as pure. Otherwise it is not pure. Otherwise it is known as mixture. For example, the mineral water bottle, it is pure. It is not pure as compared as seen through the chemist's eyes. As per the chemistry, it is not pure. Why? Because it has added minerals in it. It has added minerals in it besides H2O. Water means H2O. So besides H2O, it has sodium, magnesium, calcium, chlorine, such type of minerals present in it. So and so it is known as mineral water. It is even present in our tap water. It is even present in the municipality water, that is water connection that is coming to our home. Clear? It is also present in the rainwater. Clear? So it is a mixture of many things. So we cannot say it as a pure substance. So which is pure substance? The distilled water. The distilled water. The water, distilled water means it is only and only H2O. The water that is used in the laboratory. Mineral water is not used in the laboratory. Distilled water is used in the laboratories. Clear? So such water, distilled water, is considered as a pure substance. Diamond is thoroughly made up of same type of particles, so it is pure. Gold ornaments are not pure because we say as 22 karat gold. We use 22 karat gold in the ornaments. So there is a somewhat impurities added in it. But the gold biscuits, the gold bars that we buy from the outside, that are the pure one. That are the 100% pure. But the ornaments are not pure. Getting it or not? So if any matter is made up of single type of particle, then it is pure. For example, let us consider the example of an atmosphere, air around us. Is it pure? Yes or no? Some might say that it is pure. If we move on to the hill station, then we say pure air. If we move on to the Shimla or any higher hill station, then we say this, when we reach there, then we say that it is a pure air. But it is not pure. It is not considered pure in the eyes of chemistry. Why? Because this atmospheric air is a mixture of many different types of particles, that is it contains 78% of nitrogen, first type of particle, second type of particle 21% of oxygen, third type of particle 0.94% of argon, carbon dioxide, water particles, there are hundreds of moles of different types of gases present in it. So we cannot say it as a pure substance, because it is made up of many different types of substance, many different types of particles. So it is known as mixture. Clear? So now we know what do we mean by pure and what do we mean by mixture. So either it is pure or either it is a mixture. Either it is a pure or either it is a mixture. What do we mean by mixture? It contains more than two different types of components, two or more than two different types of components in it. Components means type of particles. So if there are two or more than two different types of particles, then it is known as mixture. If there are two or more than two different types of particles, then it is known as a mixture. Then it is known as a mixture. So now we know what do we mean by mixture, but we have two different types of mixture. We have two different types of mixture, that is known as homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. So there are two different types of mixture, that is homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. So what do we mean by homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture? In both of the mixtures we know there are two or more than two types of particles. There are two or more than two different types of particles. But if the composition of that particles, if the particles are well mixed, then it is known as homogeneous. If thoroughly the composition is not same, then it is known as heterogeneous mixture. Let us take an example. For example, we have a glass or we have a beaker. Let us take a beaker. Clear? There is another similar beaker here also. Clear? Both of them are filled with water. Clear? Understand the figure. Don't go with the type of figure or the quality of figure I have drawn. Clear? Now just understand the concept. So what do we mean by homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture? Suppose in the first beaker we are adding the salt particles. First of all it was water. Now with water we are adding salt particles. The formula of this common salt that we use in our house is NaCl. It is known as sodium chloride. So whenever we add the salt particles and continuously stir it, then the particles are thoroughly spread into the beaker. Yes or no? For example, if we take the mixture from the upper portion, then also it feels the same saltness as much as it feels from the downside. Clear? If we take this small portion of this mixture of water and salt from the above portion, then it feels salty. If we take the mixture portion from the downward side, then also it feels equally salty. It is the same saltness. After sterilizing it, after mixing it very well, the salt particles do not get settled down. The salt particles will not be present at the bottom. It will get thoroughly mixed. with the water. So it is known as homogeneous mixture. Even if we check this mixture, if we check this mixture in the laboratory, then for example, I have taken 100 ml of water from this. 100 ml of mixture from this. Then I found that there was 10 gram of salt. In 100 ml of this mixture, there was 10 gram of salt. If I am taking the 100 ml of mixture from the downward side, then also I will find that there will be only 10 gram, not less, nor more than the first sample. Clear? If I am taking third sample of 100 ml from the same mixture, then again I will have 10 gram of salt in the 100 ml of mixture. So we can say that you can take the sample from anywhere in the mixture, you will have the same composition, the same mixture, the amount of salt in each and every 100 ml of mixture will be same. But what happens if we add sand particles? We are adding sand particles into this mixture, then what happens? The sand particles are heavy and do not get dissolved in water. So we can say that there will be a large amount of sand particles at the bottom of the beaker. There will be large amount of sand particles at the bottom of the beaker because they get settled down. Clear? And there will be very less amount of particles, sand particles in the above. Clear? Now what is this mixture? This is a mixture of water and sand. The chemical formula of sand is SiO2, known as silicon dioxide. It is known as silicon dioxide. Now I am taking the first sample. I am taking the first sample of 100 ml of mixture from the above. Then I found that there was 10 gram of sand. There was 10 gram of sand in the above portion. Now I am taking the second mixture from the below one of 100 ml of. Then I found to be there was 45 gram of sand. Suppose there was 45 gram of sand. Why there is only 10 gram from the sample which was taken from the above and there is 45 gram of sand that is from the sample taken below? Because the sand are the heavy particles and they will get settled down. See, there are more amount of sand particles present at the bottom. There are more amount of sand particles present at the bottom. So there will be large amount of sand in the sample. If we are taking the sample from the middle portion, this is first, this is second and this is the third sample. If we are taking the third sample here, then from out of 100 ml of mixture, we will find that there will be suppose 25 gram of sand. Why? It is more than the first sample but the less than the second sample. Why? As we see, after mixing the sand in the any of the beaker or any of the glass, we can say that in the above portion there will be very small amount of sand particles. As we move from top to bottom of the mixture, we see that the color of the mixture changes. In the upper portion there will be light color, in the below portion there will be darker, and even if we go below then it will be very dark in color, that is brownish in color. Why? Because the amount of sand particle increases. So in the first sample there was less amount of sand, in the third sample was somewhat more than the first, and in the second sample, that is from the below of the mixture, it has high amount of sand. So we can say that the sand is not well mixed. Water and sand are not well mixed. It means, chemically speaking, scientifically speaking, we cannot say that they are not well mixed. We will speak that they are not thoroughly mixed. Clear? It has a uniform composition. It has a uniform composition. Uniform composition. Clear? और यहाँ पे क्या होगा? This is non-uniform composition. This is non-uniform composition. This is non-uniform composition. Here the particles are thoroughly mixed. Thoroughly mixed, has a same composition. Here the particles are not well mixed. Clear? So this is homogeneous mixture and this is known as heterogeneous mixture. In homogeneous mixture the two particles are well mixed, thoroughly mixed, but in heterogeneous mixture it is a non-uniform composition and the particles are not well mixed. They do not have uniform composition. Clear? They have non-uniform composition. This one is having uniform composition. Clear? Getting it? Yes or no? See, now the mixtures can also be known as solution. Mixtures can also be known as solution. So now we are going to learn about solutions. What do we mean by solutions? If it is the same thing, mixture, it is a mixture of two or more things. Clear? But so why are we calling solutions? Because we want to divide the mixture. Either it is homogeneous, heterogeneous, doesn't matter. I want to divide the solution. What is the solution made up of? We know that it is made up of two or more things. Here the mixtures are made up of two things. two compositions, two particles, two type of particles, one is H2 and another is NaCl. Here also mixture is made up of two type of particles, one is H2 and another one is SiO2. Made up of atoms, matter is made up of atoms, tiny particles. Yes. Now, so it means a solution contains two or more things. Solution is a mixture, another name of mixture can be said as solution. Solution has two or more things, but it is quite so sure that one of the component has more quantity than the another one, is in the larger quantity than the another one. For example, water and salt. So we can say that in water and salt, water has a larger quantity as compared to the NaCl. So water will be present in more quantity in a glass as compared to the NaCl. Clear? So the component which is lesser in quantity, the components which is lesser in quantity is known as solute, The component which is larger in quantity is known as solvent, and they form solution, Solute plus solvent forms solution. Clear? Here solute is less in quantity, solvent is more in quantity. They combine and form a solution. How to remember? We get confused many a times. What is solute? What is solvent? The component which is lesser in quantity is known as solute. The component which is more in quantity, that is known as solvent. They together combine and form a solution. They get mixed with each other and form a solution. But how to remember solute and solvent? S-O-L-U-T-E, solute, S-O-L-V-E-N-T, solvent. Out of solute and solvent, which one has a smaller spelling? Solute. Which one has a bigger spelling? Solvent. The component which has a lesser spelling, smaller spelling, has a less quantity. Out of two, which has a bigger spelling, has a more quantity. Solute, spelling is small, quantity less. Solvent, spelling is bigger, quantity more. Getting it? Quite simple. Solute, spelling is small as compared to the solvent, so the quantity is also less. Solvent, spelling is bigger than the solute, so its quantity is quite more. They get combined and forms the solution. The biggest spelling, the highest quantity. If two things will combine, then the quantity will increase obviously, so as compared to the solute and solution has a bigger spelling, biggest quantity, largest quantity. Clear? So solute and solvent forms this solution. Now for the formation of a solution, we require solute as well as solvent. Yes or no? But there can be only and only one solvent. There can be only one and only one solvent. Clear? For example, we are making roti, we are making chapatis. Then what we are adding it into for formation of the chapatis? We are adding the wheat flour, we are adding the salt, we are adding water, we might add something more into it. So there are many things added into it. If many things, two or more things are added, then it is known as mixture. It is also known as solution. Out of many of the components, which component has the highest quantity? Wheat flour. For making the chapatis, we have the highest quantity of wheat flour. So it means wheat flour is a solvent, and remaining all the things, water, salt, etc. things are all known as solute. So there cannot be more than one solvent, but there can be many solute. Clear? So this is also a thing to remember. What is the thing? That only one solvent. And what is here? Can be one or more solute. There can be one or more solute, but there can never be more than one solvent. So it is only one solvent. In any solution, there can be only one solvent. There can be many solutes, but there can only be one solvent. So this is quite simple and easy to remember. Solute having the lesser quantity, spelling is small. If the spelling is bigger one, then it has a higher quantity, and there can be only one solvent. There can be one or more solute. They combine and form a solution. Clear? Now the last topic for today's lecture, we are going to learn about true solution. True solution. See, mixture of solute and solvent forms this solution, but there is a many different types of solution. First one is known as true solution. What do we mean by true solution? If solute and solvent mixes with each other and forms a homogeneous mixture if the solution can be either homogeneous or heterogeneous, but if it forms homogeneous, then it is the first quality of the true solution. What are the properties? Then it should be homogeneous mixture. If it is a homogeneous mixture, then it can be called as a true solution. What is the second characteristics? Solute particles are smaller than 1 nanometer. See, this is the unit of length. We can see our hair, the width of our hair, not the length. Girls has a higher length, but the width of the human hair is equals to the 50,000 nanometer. The width of human hair is equals to 50,000 nanometer. That is equals to 50,000 nanometer. That is the width of the human hair. But the solute particles should be less than 1 nanometer. It should be smaller than 1 nanometer. Then it can be a true solution. The particles, the size of solute particles. Why size of solute? Why we are always telling about this solute? Solvent is in more quantity. Then why the type of solution is dependent upon the solute? Because, for example, today you have gone to the restaurant for having a dinner with your family. For example, you are going today for the dinner in any of the finest restaurant with your family. Now you have ordered vegetables. You have ordered chapatis and you are having a fun. But if one of the vegetables tastes salty, what will you say? What will you say to the manager or the chef or to a waiter? These vegetables has a larger quantity of the salt in it. It is quite salty. Yes or no? We can never say that these vegetables contains lesser amount of vegetables. We will always say that it is a higher amount of salt in it. We can never say that it is small amount of vegetables in it. Yes or no? Why? Because the solutions type of solution is dependent upon the solute. But in the vegetables you have ordered, which one is solute and which one is solvent? Salt is quite less in quantity, so it is solute. Vegetables are large in quantity, so it is solvent. But even though we consider the type of vegetable, the quality of vegetable on the solute that is added, so always the solution is dependent upon solute, not the solvent. So it should be homogeneous mixture. The particles will not be able to be seen by naked eye. We cannot see the size of particles, solute particles in the solution. Clear? They are too small to be seen by naked eye. Why? Because they are smaller than 1 nanometer. So our eyes are not capable to see these solute particles in a true solution. Clear? So we have completed the first 2 pages of chapter number 2 of class 9 science. So just read it out. What is there in chapter on page number 1 and page number 2. Complete your classwork as well as again write it down in your homework notebook. Now the second homework today I am going to give you is write the difference between homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. Write the difference between homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. Try to find out the difference between homogeneous and heterogeneous mixture from the first 2 pages of chapter number 2. That is your homework. Clear? If you will be able to do the homework, or if you are completing the homework, then and then you will be able to understand the next lecture. If you are not doing the today's homework, then from the next lecture you won't be understand. Now it's your fault. Every time we are trying to study hard, every time at the start of a year we are quite eager to study well, but at the end of the year again the same conditions happens, we are not able to study well. Why? Because we are not regularly doing the work. Now this is the starting of a second chapter. complete today's homework, then and then you would be able to understand the next lecture, and that will be somewhat interesting for you. Clear? Getting it? Thank you, beta.